Hey fellow code jockeys, it's Kyle here from WCAG Made Simple. Today we're going to be going over images in alt text and what screen readers see and what the accessibility tree sees. Today I wanted to start off in Firefox so we could view the accessibility tree. So in Firefox I have my code example here, and inside the code example I have mocked up some images with a few different attributes paired with them. The first image here has no alt attribute and no other attributes with it. The next one has an empty alt attribute. The one after that is an empty alt attribute paired with aria-hidden equals true. The next one is an image with also again an empty alt attribute, this time paired with role equals none. And this last one here has all three combinations, so an empty alt attribute, role equals none, and aria-hidden equals true. So knowing this now, let's right click and let's pull up the accessibility tree. Accessibility tree, we expand the generic. And as you glance through here, you'll see headings and paragraphs. But despite there being about 5 images on the page, you'll notice there's only one rendering in the accessibility tree. And that is our image that has no alt attribute whatsoever. It's completely missing. None of the other images paired with the other attribute combinations are present here in this tree. So viewing this, you might think, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen with a screen reader here. It's going to probably announce something on this first image without any alt text because that's what's showing in the accessibility tree. And a screen reader would probably ignore these other combinations. Well, that's not entirely true. So let's jump over to Safari and we'll spin up VoiceOver and we'll see how things behave.
VoiceOver.
So I'm going to tab down image by image here. And when I say tab down, I actually mean arrow key down through the page to get to each image and see what is announced.
Read this. You can get heading when no this.
Okay, and now we're going to jump to that first image here without any alt text.
300 image. You are currently on this could be thing.
300 image. That's an interesting one. Let's hear it again.
300 image. You are currently on an image.
300 image. That seems strange. Where is that announcement coming from when we know that this image doesn't have any alt text? Well, the funny thing about screen readers is that if there is no alt attribute on an image whatsoever, they're going to try to find anything in that image that they can that they think has some useful information and serve it up to you. In this case, 300 is
image
coming from
menu 11 items. VoiceOver off.
Just turn that off there for a second so this is easier to see. The 300 is actually coming from the image, I believe this is the height attribute, width and height. So for whatever reason, the screen reader said, hey, I can't find an alt attribute here. I need to read something to the user. I have to convey something of value to the user. So in this case, it's either picking the tail end of the URL or it's inferring that the image height is 300 and it's serving that up to us. How it made the distinction to do that, totally unknown to me. Screen readers are funny things with funny inner workings, and I'm not versed on the behind the scenes ins and outs of them. But that's what's happened. It said, hey, I gotta serve something and announce something. Now, of course, that is not useful information to really anybody. So that drives home the importance of actually marking these things up properly so that if a screen reader is not supposed to see them, it just announces nothing. So the correct first step for this is to make sure that each image has an alt attribute with empty text. So if we inspect here, you can see that that's how our next one is marked up. Certain browsers will show either just an empty like an attribute with no equal sign and quotation marks if it's empty. Other ones will show equal and then quotation with no value. It's the same thing. It all just depends how the browser inspect tools want to display that, but it is the same thing. So let's turn VoiceOver on again. Let's go down to this next image and let's see if it announces anything or if it ignores our image.
VoiceOver, read you get head when this could 300 heading the pro.
Okay, and now we're going to tab down to this image. Again, this one does have an alt attribute that's empty. Let's see what VoiceOver announces.
Image. You are currently on
image. So it didn't announce anything about the image, but it did announce that there was an image. Now, that's interesting because the specs online will tell you that empty alt text means this is a decorative image, therefore it should be ignored. And it may behave that way in other screen readers. I've only tested this with VoiceOver and Safari. But this is why we do real testing, because these things like to behave pretty wildly, even though there's specs out there and standards, even though there's an accessibility tree that shows you how things should behave. These things are a little bit of a wild west, and they don't always behave how you expect. So, of course, always code to the standard, but if you have the capacity to actually test out different screen readers on your pages, on your web content, on your web applications, that's invaluable, because you will learn things that you would not learn just by reading specs online and reading best practices. So we'll hear that just one more time.
the primary
Jump down to this image.
image.
It announces
You are currently
and it announces it as an image. Okay,
VoiceOver off.
we'll scroll down here. So, keeping in line with the spec, if you continue reading online, you will come across the aria-hidden true attribute. And for most pieces of content and in most screen readers, aria-hidden equals true paired with empty alt text is probably all you need for an image not to be announced. However, VoiceOver is going to announce this again. And let's see that in action now.
VoiceOver on Safari. Read this. You get what it 3 heading the prime image. You heading level 2 aria-hidden image. You are
So you can see here, it announced it as an image, just as it did when aria-hidden true wasn't present, and it was just empty alt text. So essentially, for VoiceOver on Safari, aria-hidden true is not being it's not being registered, or it's being ignored. Now, there is a way to get around this. So for VoiceOver specifically, it seems like you need to apply role equals none, and role is another aria attribute, or aria-esque attribute. But role equals none, which is an alias for the older role equals presentation, which is used to indicate that elements are only for presentational purposes. So if we continue on now, and we hop down here with VoiceOver still on.
heading level role equals none. Combine all 3 for the highest level of cross-compatibility. VoiceOver off.
Sorry, let's just start again from the top, and we'll just tab down here.
VoiceOver on Safari. Read you get what this 3 heading the image. Heading level 2 aria image. Heading level 2 role equals none.
Okay, so this is kind of a little bit of a pain, because if I scroll, there's a chance it might actually move where VoiceOver is at. So let me just try it. Seems like it's okay. And now let's see if it reads that image.
In testing, VoiceOver required role. Combine all 3 for the highest level of cross. In testing, VoiceOver required role equals.
So,
Combine.
interesting enough,
In test.
it actually looks like it skipped over that image. So that's what's supposed to happen across all these implementations. Alt equals empty string is supposed to get you here. But in real world testing, that's not what's happened. And in VoiceOver specifically, paired with Safari, you need to have this role equals none or role equals presentation attribute on your image. In other screen readers, you may be able to get away with just aria-hidden equals true. In other ones yet, they may just respect the empty alt attribute. Again, you never know. This is why real-world testing is invaluable. The last image here is going to behave the same way. It's going to get skipped over because this one does have role equals none, but this one does have all three approaches combined. So the last one has empty alt text, it has aria-hidden equals true, and it has role equals none. And this combination is going to give you the highest level of cross-compatibility across major screen reader types. So just to show it off here, that it is indeed being skipped.
Combine all three for the highest level of format.
Okay, and now if I press down,
End of text.
it's just saying end of text or end of page. It's not registering that there is an image there. So that's it for today. Stay cool, stay coding, and hit a like and subscribe button if you found this useful. And we'll see you next time, fellow code jockeys. Take care.